How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be continuing my Sharks of Summer series. Sharks of Summer is a series around here where once a week during the summer I take a look at a shark movie, but this week we're going to be doing something different. We're going to be talking about the Shark Bait 6 Killer Shark Film Collection. This is a DVD multi-pack that I was really glad to pick up. Having to do a shark movie every single week around here, I do have a big need to collect a lot of shark films, and to be able to grab 6 at once was a really good deal for me. And hey, it also has a 7th bonus film, an Aligator Film. Yeah, sure, why not, I'll take that too. But the thing is, this pack actually has a motif behind it. These are all SyFy Channel original movies. If you guys know the SyFy Channel, they had a huge success with the movie Sharknado, a big over-the-top goofy shark movie, so of course they gave the green light to a bunch of other shark movies with goofy and over-the-top titles and concepts. And that's what all these movies are. Ghost Shark, Zombie Shark, Santa Jaws. They all have that kind of crazy feel to them. And also, if you watch all the movies in the pack, you'll start to notice a few familiar faces pop up. You'll see several of the actors across multiple movies, and also, counting the Aligator Film, 3 of these movies were directed by Griff Furst, and the other 4 movies in here were directed by Misty Talley. And I believe the 3 that Misty Talley didn't direct, she did actually edit, so you do actually see a lot of the same crew. This is a big team making a bunch of shark movies, and they all have a pretty similar feel behind them. And talking about the movies in general, they all do have a good launching off point. They all have a crazy concept, and they try to get a few big gags in there. There'll be at least 1 or 2 memorable ideas from each movie that do make them stand out a little bit more than a lot of other cheap shark movies. All the movies in here are fun enough. They have a good sense of life and levity and humor, and these are great B-shark movies if you want to turn something on and have a bit of a laugh. Now, that being said, while they are goofy and they do try to be over the top, they don't have a huge budget, so they're not going to go big and crazy like Sharknado 3 or anything. And also, I do wish these were just a little bit better written. It's like the jokes are funny, but they're not laugh out loud funny. A lot of them I do wish they had more of a punch to. And also, while you have a good initial spark, a lot of the plots are a little meandering and lackluster and left me wanting a little bit more. They're fun B-grade shark movies, but again, don't get your hopes up too high. But for what they are, they're fun enough, and if you enjoy a campy B-side, pretty much all the movies in here deliver on that. But let's go ahead and take a moment. I'll switch to the close-up camera. We can take a closer look at the physical release, and then we'll bounce back here and do some mini reviews. Alright, here we are inside the castle taking a closer look at the Shark Bait 6 Killer Shark Film Collection. Right off the bat, a pretty fun cover here with this scuba diver lady approaching a really big shark with this smear of blood. And I also love how there's a second swimmer up here, and the water line kind of makes the band across the top of the DVD where it tells us it's DVD and digital. And then of course there's the ad for the 7th bonus film, referred to as the bonus bite. There's the spine with the poster on the front and the Mill Creek logo where it tells you it's a 2-disc set. And if we flip it to the back, we get to see the list of films. Killer creatures are lurking in the shallows of the deep blue sea, hungry for blood and ready to attack. Got the names of 2 other big shark movies in there. Anyway, we get to see that each one will have the title, a bit of a description, and they all get their own picture. So, Ghost Shark, Mississippi River Sharks, Ozark Sharks, Santa Jaws, Swamp Shark, Zombie Shark, and the extra bite is Alligator Alley. And on the bottom we get how you can get the movies digitally through some service called Movie Spree. I've already taken the card out and looked at it. I'm not going to show you guys the code, obviously. I don't know too much about these digital services, but they all seem to have their ways of going about things, but there's a little bit of the instructions. But if we crack this set open, we get to see the movies there on 2 discs. So the first one has 3 movies, and the second one has 4 because of that bonus bite. And I will say with these movies, the resolution is better than you think. I mean, it's not crazy high resolution or anything, but considering how they crammed 3 and 4 movies on each disc, it actually is still totally watchable. I will say that the main menus are a little bit bare bones. It's basically just the titles of the movies with no other options, no special features of any kind, and not even any subtitles. But you know what, the movies are there and they are an okay enough quality despite the fact that they're on 2 single-sided discs. But to talk about the movies themselves, let's go ahead and switch back to the other camera. Alright, let's go ahead and wrap things up by doing little mini reviews for every movie in this pack in the order that they're listed on the back of the box. So that means we're going to be opening up with Ghost Shark. And Ghost Shark is a really fun movie. There's this shark that's killed unjustly, however it wanders to this cave to die. The cave's magical and causes the shark to come back as a ghost with the unique ability to spawn anywhere there's water. So in turn you get really fun and creative gags where the shark appears at the end of a slip and slide, or it appears at a car wash and drags a girl into a 5-gallon bucket. And our characters are pretty fun and likable, and it's really cool to watch them run around town and try to solve this mystery. I have to say Ghost Shark is easily the best movie in this pack. The characters are a little better, the gags are a little better, it's a fun enough concept executed a little bit better than the rest of the B movies. So if you only check out one in this pack, Ghost Shark is definitely my recommendation. Moving on to Mississippi River Sharks. Mississippi River Sharks is about a fishing competition, and the people don't know that a bunch of bull sharks got loose in the Mississippi River, and they're coming for the competition. We of course have an evil mayor trying to keep things under wraps. And we have 2 goofy best friends, one of whom is actually a fan of shark movies and is really excited because Jason London is coming, who is an actor playing himself and in this universe was in a series of shark movies. So there's a little bit of self-referential humor in here, and we get to see Jason London playing a goofy actor character. Overall though, the plot in this one is just a little bit too loose and a little bit too meandering. The self-aware angle is what gives it some credit, but other than that, this one's fairly generic. Moving on to Ozark Sharks though, this one is a little bit similar to the last one. In fact, if you look closely, I think that's the same picture of a shark in each poster. But this one is a little bit better put together. Ozark Sharks, you get a family vacationing in the Ozarks. The family splits up and sharks come down the river. It becomes a race to save their parents who are farther down the river than them. And one of the cool parts of this movie is you get a prepper character that's built a bunch of fun, crazy custom weapons. He's a really cool, gruff character, and in general, the family members are fun and likable enough. So yeah, the characters fire off a little bit better in this one, and really just going after the sharks with these fun and crazy and creative weapons, and the race down the river motif, this one is fairly good. Not the best thing ever or anything, but Ozark Sharks is pretty fun. After that, we move on to Santa Jaws, and Santa Jaws probably has the most creative concept in this box. The idea with Santa Jaws is around Christmas time, this kid gets a magical pin as a present, and he draws his original character, Santa Jaws, a shark with a Santa hat that's like super big and tough and kills people in Christmassy ways. Well, when he finds out his creation's real, he has to figure out how to stop it. and that includes devising Christmassy weapons against it, and also reuniting with his family who he's been kind of mad at. I will say, this plot had so much potential, and I do wish this one was pushed a lot farther. I mean, for example, you have a magic pen that can create anything you want. There should really be some wacky shenanigans here. Overall, Santa Jaws is pretty good, and probably one of the better movies on this pack, but it is also a case of one that I really wish got pushed a little farther, because this is good, but it really could have been great. Moving right along, after that we have the movie Swamp Shark. And Swamp Shark is a pretty fun movie. Basically, we get this family of 3 siblings who run this restaurant in the swamp. However, there's a corrupt local sheriff who's secretly an animal smuggler, and he has this really big agent, super tough shark who accidentally escapes into the river, and he starts to blame the deaths on this family's alligator restaurant. And in order to open up their restaurant again, and especially because one of the sisters did see the shark, they have to go hunt the prehistoric shark to save the family business. The characters are likable enough, the story is fun enough, but it just needed a little bit more punch. Like, the super shark is a really cool idea. I wish he got pushed farther and we got to see bigger, more extreme moments. As it stands, it's fun but kinda generic, but whatever, a good enough watch. The last shark movie on this pack is Zombie Shark, and Zombie Shark was pretty fun. This group of young adults goes on vacations on Plum Island, a small island in the middle of nowhere. However, there's a seemingly abandoned government base nearby, but of course it's not really abandoned. They're doing mysterious research on sharks and immortality, and of course they're going to accidentally create and release a zombie shark. But you know the deal with zombies, it's not going to stay at just one. We're going to get more and more zombie sharks. How do you fight them? How do you defeat them? You're stuck on this small island. And while not all the cool zombie tropes transfer over into a shark movie, it still is a fun idea. And we got a really funny character in this guy that owns the resort they're staying at. Overall, again, not perfect, and it would have been great if we had more of a budget with this one to go even more extreme. But for what it is, a fun enough little movie, and I thought Zombie Shark was cool. Moving on to the last one, this is that bonus bite, the Alligator Film, and this is Alligator Alley. In Alligator Alley, a girl goes off to college, she comes back to her family who lives in the swamp, and of course she's kind of fallen out of touch with their ways. There's a rival family, and the rival family actually dumps contaminated moonshine into the water, and we literally get red-necked gators. They have like a stripe on their neck, and they also have a long tail with projectile spikes. And I mean, it's okay. The alligator kills when they do them were cool, but they were a little less than they should have been, and most of the movie is just people doing funny Cajun accents and yelling at each other. They like really try to get a lot of mileage out of this family feud. And I will say, one element that kind of ruined it for me is the last act of the movie becomes about this whole other thing, and it's a really stupid twist. I get they were trying to be an over-the-top B-movie, but the way it goes in that final act is somehow incredibly stupid and also pretty depressing. I wasn't a fan of how things turned out, but hey, it's a bonus movie, and you know, it's the worst one in the pack, but you know, it's a bonus, so hey, might as well throw it in there. Overall, again, I don't want to oversell these movies. They're not the greatest thing ever, they're not the funniest thing ever, they don't reinvent the wheel, but they're all relatively solid and good for a laugh on a lazy Saturday afternoon. They all have an interesting concept, and they all are going for humor, and almost every time I wish the concept was pushed farther and I wish they were funnier. We were going after Sharknado, never quite got to that level, but you know what, they're still fun for what they are, and seeing as how this is a 7-film collection, the fact that all of them were halfway decent, it really does stand out. So yeah, if you see this pack and that sounds good to you, you might as well pick it up. And it was fun going back and looking at this set overall. Interesting films in here. But anyway, why I got you guys here, I do want to say, just this past weekend I did post my latest short film. It's called One Little Problem, and I had a really fun time making it. I should have a link to it in the cards and probably the description if you guys want to check it out. It would mean a lot to me if you supported it, so thank you to everyone who does. All that being said, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my shark bait playlist. If you guys want to see the full reviews for every single one of these movies, you should be able to find them right there. So if you want to take a deeper dive, click there. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Shark bait playlist here. Have a good day now.